Hello, welcome in another episode of Focus Fridays. I am Barone68. Today, we are going to talk about heads up. I think heads up is a really daunting subject. Normally, for a lot of people in MTTs, getting to heads up is the victory in itself. And while you should be proud when you get heads up, there's a lot of money still on the table. And so I think it's really important to study this topic and to get better at it. So I started out in sit and goes, and when it got to heads up play, I, like most of my fellow regulars, didn't really know what we were doing. People started using something which is called Nash ranges. What Nash ranges were was a glorified push fold. Basically what this chart tells you is, okay, well, if your options are only go all in or fold, what should you do with whatever hand you have? And this became the backbone of a lot of players' heads up play. They were like, look, this is a profitable play. I don't know what to do. I'll just do the thing that I know isn't losing me money. It's not bad to pick something that's profitable, but profitable should be our bottom baseline for what our decisions are. Ace, ace on the top left, 20 plus big blinds. It is a profitable all-in hand. We knew that. It's a really good hand. But does that mean when you're dealt in, you always want to go all in with pocket aces? You want to just make a normal raise. You don't want to just shove all in because you're going to lose all the customers. Understanding that a profitable decision might not be an optimal decision was something that took me a while. So now we're going to get into some hands. All right, so this is a heads up against fellow 8-8 ambassador Ian Simpson. But we played heads up recently in the 320 online festival series knockout. And now he raises and we end up having king queen. So I think it's a spot where you can 3-bet. You can also just call. I don't think you need to walk away from this session saying, oh, king queen always needs to be a this, always needs to be a that. When we simplify the game that much, I think it certainly, again, makes it easier to play, but you're simplifying at that point to have easy decisions. And I understand that, but the goal is not to have the easiest decision when you play poker. It's to make profitable decisions. If I always 3-bet all my king queens here, and all my king jacks, and all my queen jacks, and all my ace nines, and all my ace tens, and all my ace three suited, if I start saying, you know what, all my good hands, I'm gonna 3-bet. Well, that means all my calls are bad hands. That's not good. Against a good player, I don't want them to be able to pick up on the fact that my range is so weak in a spot. Because if it is, they should keep putting pressure on me. So some of the time here, with king queen, I will 3-bet. And some of the times I will flat. If I wasn't concerned about Ian getting some sort of read on me, maybe I would just be 3-betting my strong hands for value more often. We just call king queen. Well, we started out with a pretty good hand. But it is a bad flop for our hand. He picks a big size, and we just fold. If I have one club here, I'm continuing. Even like king jack, I'm continuing more than king queen, just because I have the backdoor straight draw that's more likely. Obviously, queen jack, king 10, I'm more likely to call as well. But king queen with no club, I think against a big size anyway, is just a fold. We raise jack 8 suited, and Ian 3-bets. Full ring game. When you open the hijack or middle position and you get 3-bet, this hand's not great. Most likely, most of the time, I would say you should be folding it. Heads up though, ranges are wider. We have position, and again, the wider their range is, it means that our hand is doing better equity-wise against their range. The more times he has ace 7 offsuit here, it's really good for us. Even though we're behind with jack 8 suited, we're not as far behind to ace 7 off as we would be to kings or queens or aces or jacks or tens. And so we have position, our hand flops well, heads up, people are gonna have a wider than normal range, so we continue. Comes ace, king, deuce with 2 of our suit, backdoor straight draw as well. A good flop for Ian's range overall, right? Because he's gonna, have the aces and the kings, he's gonna have the ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, ace 10, random other aces, maybe king, queen, king, jack type stuff, and he bets out almost exactly a quarter pot. What do you guys wanna do here? We can raise, we can call, and we can fold. The thing that pops into my head right away is, what really good hands do we have here? Let's say we had pocket aces and we trapped him pre-flop. Are we gonna raise an ace high board? Probably not. What if we had pocket kings? Would I raise an ace high board with ace king X? Probably not. Would I wanna raise ace 5 offsuit? Why? If I'm raising ace 5, what am I hoping happens? Do I want him to jam or do I want him to fold? So I think my strongest hands in this spot don't want to raise, they want to trap. My weaker top pairs are probably the best hand, but they get more value from letting him bluff. So I don't think I'd be raising here pretty much every hand on this board. So I think I'm just gonna call, and that's what I do. Now Ian bets the turn. This time he bets about 1/3 of the pot. We have a similar situation. Paul says, isn't it best to play slightly more aggressively playing heads up? You want to play aggressive, but you also want to realize how your range looks. Playing aggressive doesn't mean just, I have a flush draw, I'm going to put it all in. If I was a pre-flop raiser in this spot and Ian had just called my bet, I would be aggressive on this board. But once he 3-bets and I just call, it's a board that favors him. So you do want to play aggressively, but again, you want to be aware of how your range looks and how you'd play your strong hands. I think our choice here is jam or call. Again, we're getting such a great price. He's actually priced us in to draw with our exact hand. Could I shove the turn? Yeah, if you had a hand like, I don't know, pocket aces again, are you shoving the turn? I'd probably just call and let them bluff. Like, there's so much value in letting people bluff, and I know a lot of people are afraid to let cards roll off because their hand might get worse, things might get scary. But if you end up playing this game for money and you're trying to avoid difficult decisions or scary spots, you're gonna cost yourself money. Okay, I call. My plan was, okay, if he checks the river and the river is queen, jack, 10, spade, diamond, I'm gonna go all in. On a queen river or a 10 river, I'm gonna block the nuts. On a jack river, I'm basically turning my hand to a bluff and trying to make him fold a king or maybe a weak ace. On an 8 river, I'm blocking some 2-pair combinations. On a spade river, I think a lot of opponents are likely to barrel their flushes, and I'm gonna have a bottom range hand. River to spade. So what does my range look like? Like, yeah, I've got some top pairs. I've got some 2 pairs. I've got some king X. I've got 4-5 suited. Like, the bottom of my range would be in this exact spot, bricked flush draws. When the river's a spade, half of my flush draws just got there. So the bottom of my range is missed diamonds. If you're not gonna bluff this, I'm not sure what you're actually bluffing. And so if Ian checks river, I'm all in. He goes all in. Well, it's a pretty easy decision now. We just fold.